Years in the making, here we go. I'm standing here in the middle of our driveway, which has always been quite the weed disaster on both sides, falling into at one time a pond to my right and over to the left, a creek that was just dismantled and looked like you know what. So here we are today to set in motion retaining walls on both sides, fences up the sides. So let me take you through the plan. So in front of me on the hill are two pavers that are going to continue on down, follow along the side of the retaining walls and flare out around the willows. In this entrance area, we're going to make sure that we have everything that needs to be considered for a retaining wall. Strong foundations, also too, making sure that we have enough of a rock backfill behind it so that the water filters down and finds its way out. One thing that we have to consider here that's a lot different than many retaining walls is I do have water coming in from the west that will pass through this area, and at times because of flood conditions we can actually have it built up on the west side. So all that has to be considered when building the foundations is proper drainage so that we don't get frosty even destroy the whole thing. So let's walk through the elements of this plan. On the west side, you see as the creek comes in from the south and comes from the west, goes into our catch basin, into two culverts that come around me. Also, there's the two culverts that you see here in this cement in front of me that come through the middle and go over the rocks into the waterfall. This area here is going to be extremely active, and like I said, we're going to build this retaining wall across here, and in front of that retaining wall we're going to have to make sure that we have riprap on both sides to make sure that when the water breaks its banks that it doesn't erode the base behind the retaining wall. That's something different from most people that share these kinds of videos on retaining walls. They never get into concepts like this because it is rare. So with that, we'll go ahead and we'll bring it along. The wall will come and break around the outside of the willow, and then we'll go ahead and backfill this area. Probably going to take somewhere around 20 dump truck loads worth of dirt in this area. So that fence will come around like this, the retaining wall, should I say, will come around like this and go up and stop about 50-60 feet up the road. In addition, I will go ahead and put a fence on top of that about 3 feet tall with two rails. They'll find their way all the way around and beautify this section all the way up and give you also kind of a guidance for going up the hill. So the east side is a little bit less complicated, and I can only say that because we have already built our cement box around the culverts that are shooting across the rocks into the waterfall, into the pool, and then the creek beyond. So now the retaining wall will build across it, come left and right of me, circle out as we're going to go ahead and put another willow out there on the east side of the driveway. So as those bricks build up and across here, we're going to replicate what was in the west with a nice cap off the top, a standalone brick on the very top that allows you to see both sides nice and clean and looking terrific. Okay, we're also going to match that fence that goes across with the two rails and make sure that that is all looking similarly going up the road. In addition to that, we do have electrical that's going to be coming up in through the fence line here, and then we'll be able to light up or even potentially have a gate in the future wired and ready to go. So there's a lot of activity here in the east side that isn't on the west side, but having said that, it's actually quite a bit easier. We will start in the east because we need to get that structure set up, ready to go in that line to match up the hill to those two pavers runs that I was talking about. So all that will culminate into a presentation that will be really cool. Okay, there was so many steps along the way that built this moment. I'm going to go ahead and defer out to that for a second so I can show you what is built up in rapid fashion. So stay tuned over the next several weeks as we go and release the footage of how we built out this impressive, incredibly fun and exciting, good-looking entrance to our property with willows on both sides, creek flowing through, a reservoir off to my left in the east, and a beautiful entrance up to the home lined with fences all the way up to the top, ready to go and looking great. A complete transformation from where we were before.